Why is India so special? Why are we so blessed?
It's a place where gods lived. This land was inhabited by gods. It's God's own land. This subcontinent, as we call, has mountains, Himalayas, forests, sand, desert, coastal regions, all in one place. We are blessed by God and nature in this land.
Sanatana Dharma. They say it's not a religion, it's a philosophy of life.
See, if you look at Ramayana, Bhagwan Ram, Dev, fought with an Asur, Ravana, in another land. You come to Mahabharata, the Kauravas and Pandavas were one family. So Mahabharata was between kith and kin. Now come to Kali Yuga. We are fighting a battle within ourselves. We don't have to fight anybody else. We have to fight our own selves. Mind is your friend and mind, your own mind, is your biggest enemy. How much are you able to tame your mind defines your trajectory and growth in life.
Meet Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor, a decorated Air Force veteran, whose voice of patriotism and service inspires us beyond Independence Day.
Who we are is much deeper than, who we are is bigger than what we believe we are.
I'll just give you one example, and that is of Rishabh Pant. On 30 or 31st of December 2022, he meets with a near fatal road accident. His leg was to be amputated. This boy worked 16 to 18 hours on his strength building and fitness. He lifted the World Cup from a place where his leg was to be amputated to lifting the World Cup in a few months. What more example do you need of great determination and mental strength?
If you were to share a message with all the Indians, be it those sitting in the country or those sitting outside the country, what would be that message?
The leadership in our country is sorted out. I have absolutely no doubt. We have one of the finest diplomats. We have the finest brain in this country.
Sanjeev sir, why does it feel like that we are surrounded by enemies? Why is India so isolated? Thank you so much, Sanjeev sir. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and be on the podcast, the xMonks Drive.
It's always an honor and privilege for me to be speaking to you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And today, we are going to talk about something which I'm sure is extremely important to all the Indians. Many families have suffered the pain of partition in 1947.
Including mine.
Continuously for several decades, we have experienced the pain of what it means to be in the center of a geographical space where you have to protect yourself, where you consider all your neighbors as your threat. Sanjeev sir, why does it feel like that we are surrounded by enemies? Why is India so isolated?
A very pertinent question which large amount of young people would be asking themselves. Let's take ourselves back in history. I always say history is very important in any context. Why did it happen? And why are we in this particular situation? Like I covered, around 12th and the 13th century, everybody globally wanted to come to India for everything. Our education system was the best around the 13th and the 14th century. To get admission in Nalanda University was the most prized thing of that time. People from China, people from Russia, people from faraway places in Africa, through boats, jungles used to walk, and they were not selected. The people who were not selected for Nalanda University were sent to other places. So they had to learn science, rituals, Sanskrit, Vedas, Shlokas, Ayurvedic, astrology, medicine, metallurgy, space, astronomy. These are all taught at that time. This was the most prized knowledge which the world had at that time. The thought process of our Upanishads, books, authors, was given out to the world to be taken across. The wisdom which our ancestors had was to be shared with everybody. Lo and behold, around the 14th century and the 15th century, when the invaders started to come into our country, they realized that this civilization is so advanced. See, Ayurveda, our scriptures, is nothing but science. It's science. In our Hanuman Chalisa, we have calculated the distance between Earth, Moon, Sun. We have calculated from Somnath temple. This is the farthest point from where there is not even a speck of land till South Pole centuries ago. How did this thing happen? We were too advanced. So then the invaders came, they looted, plundered, because we were a nation which was so advanced. And why were we called Sone ki Chidiya? And why did the Portuguese, the French, the Dutch, the British, the Spanish, everybody wanted to come to India? Columbus wanted to come to India, who accidentally went to America.
America, yeah.
You read history, everybody wanted to come to this. Vasco da Gama, you name anybody. Why did they want to come to this land? Alexander wanted to come to this land because to take knowledge and wealth. All the Turks, Arabs, Muslims, invaders who came from our northwest side, they came to take away wealth, knowledge, wisdom, whatever we had, silk, gold, ornaments, our culture, art, craft, music. This country is blessed. Blessed. This subcontinent, as we call, has mountains, Himalayas, forest, sand, desert, coastal regions, all in one place. We are blessed by God and nature in this land. Now, what happened? The Buddhism had extent right till Afghanistan and Turkey, not far ago. The Iranians' land had Zoroastrianism, which is an offshoot of Hinduism. They worship fire. Iran had Zoroastrians, Parsis as we call, was the main religion of Iran. Buddhism was the main religion of Afghanistan a couple of centuries ago, not far. Till the invaders came. They started to, by force, by sword, started to change people's outlook. And from here, carved out various territories. The Indian influence, the biggest Hindu temple is seen in Angkor Wat in Cambodia. You go to, a lot of you would have visited Thailand. Every crossing has Hindu gods and goddesses.
Yes.
You see the Indian culture. A currency note of the largest Muslim populated country in this world, Indonesia, has Ganesha's picture on its currency note. Today. What a beauty of Sanatan Dharma. What a beauty of our religion. It had, access. India is a land from where 4 religions have originated. Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism and Jainism. There is something so special about this land. Anybody who comes to this land has come in the past or now is a different person when he leaves this place. And I always say that. Why do you think the Arabs came, the Turks came, the Muslim invaders came? They settled down here. It is only the white men, the Britishers, the Spanish didn't come, the Dutch, the Portuguese, when they arrived here, they had no intentions of settling down. They had intentions of looting and plundering.
Yeah.
And from here, the basic difference begins. From the 17th and the 18th century, when we were having 30 to 35% of global GDP, when we were the most prosperous country in this world, to becoming the poorest country in 1947, you don't need a special science to realize what happened.
Yeah.
We were systematically brainwashed, looted, plundered. Our education system was, tinkered with.
Yeah.
Our gurukuls closed. Our, way of life changed. And from us, a lot of countries were carved out. Earlier, Akhand Bharat had parts of Nepal in it, parts of Myanmar in it, parts of Sri Lanka, parts of Bhutan, Sikkim, Tibet. So today, when your question comes, what is the relationship between our neighbors? They were once a part of this great motherland.
Yeah.
And it's like a mother who has now different offsprings. That feeling always remains. The child may not accept you as the sacrifices or the janani, as you call, from which we have originated, because of changed ideologies, religions, priorities, vested interest. But when it comes to floods, when it comes to riots, when it comes to giving COVID vaccines, when it comes to providing aid to Maldives in natural disaster, or sending aid to Bangladesh or Nepal, or to sending aid to Sri Lanka, we as a nation, as a culture, have never held our hands back. So this is what they may feel anything about us, because it's always a big brother is not liked by the younger brothers. They feel kind of a hegemony. They kind of feel, overshadowed, overpowered, over exposed. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
India, typically, historically, has never invaded any country to annex that country's land. So we are a very different civilization. We have a very different culture, which the world is not aware.
Yeah. Let me just take a pause here and request all the listeners that this episode is going to be extremely special for all of you who believe India is a special country, and why we say that Hindustan jaisa na koi tha, na koi hai, na koi rahega. And I genuinely mean it. Why do you believe that? Why all that happened to our mother country, India? Why is India so special? Why are we so blessed?
It's a place where gods lived. This land was inhabited by gods. It's God's own land. And that's why everything is here. That's what I told you. You ask for anything in this world, anything. Peaks of, as high as Himalayas. Nepal was once a part of India.
Yeah.
Akhand Bharat. Highest peaks, Mount Everest, to oceans, to deserts, to forests, to waterfalls, to thick mangroves. It's a continent. It's not a country. Everything is available here. Minerals, oil, wealth, natural treasure, art, craft, music, cuisine, Ayurveda, yoga. This brings me to a story. When Bhopal gas tragedy struck in 1984, Union Carbide, all the people around died because of the leak. Only one family survived. And that family, please Google this, and that family was doing yajna at that time. So the power of yajna, which the fire emits, an aura around you with smoke, which are that protected. The gas leak could not affect that family because they were doing yajna at that time. So see the level of spirituality. Today, the West may give any name to our postures, cat and cow pose, crow pose, that pose. These are yoga poses, which were here with us for centuries. The Americans are today selling, turmeric latte in New York airport. They sell it for $15. It is nothing but haldi doodh. Yeah. The benefits of ginger to garlic to coriander to other herbs, which we have been using in our kitchens for centuries and centuries, is now, being discovered by the West. We were late in developing, the art of communicating at that level where it could change perceptions about a place. So the printing press, the television, the media, the movies, all which started around 100 to 150 years ago in big way, was all started from the West. So, It is their version. Our version was basically restricted to handwritten notes available in certain libraries and certain places of academic interest that never found global reach. So people are not aware. But now, as things are unfolding with age of social media, with age of connectivity, and our civilizational connect with our roots is bringing back that thing into fore.
You spoke about Sanatan Dharma. Dharma. They say it's not a religion, it's a philosophy of life. You took us to the 13th century when Bharat at that point in time was considered as a civilization, and it was a civilization. What is it that we are not getting? That it's high time that we need to go back to our roots.
See, when you have to strike at any civilization, you cut off things with which they are connected. So today, the first thing that happened was the Gurukuls went away when the Britishers came. The temples started to go away. Each temple earlier had Shastra and Shastra. So the same compound taught you about books, and on the side of the compound, you were taught sword fighting,
The art of war.
or art of war. You were taught how to ride a horse. You were taught how to do an elephant attack. You were taught how to charge. You were taught in the same complex. Slowly and steadily, those things were removed. The narrative which the white men, when they started teaching us, started to tell. The education, Max Muller, there's a road in Delhi, Lodi colony, Max Muller Road. That person wrote the Indian history with Western perspective. And that started to be taught in our books. After independence, we had the education ministers of this country who changed the curriculum to teach us the history about our invaders. Our history books began with our invaders, and there were only 2 or 3 lines about Shivaji, Maharana Pratap, Lakshmi Bai, and all these people. Why? Because subconsciously we were taught the Viceroy's history, how the Britishers were so good, how they developed this country, how the invaders brought in culture to this land.
The whole narrative.
Yes. So when a child grows up with this mindset, he is deprived of this thing. And your roots to your education system have systematically been cut. So in my opinion, this is one of the reasons. There may be many, but main fundamental reason is that we are not connected to our roots today.
I'm really wondering, is it even possible to go back?
Yes.
To embrace the space where we come from?
See, now it is rather late, I feel. Reason, internet, global connectivity, social media, Western influence. Today, every child knows that the energy drink is not good. But he will not pick up a lassi glass or a sugarcane, freshly taken out juice over an energy drink. He knows back of the mind that burger is not good, but he will not have a fresh fruit in place of a burger. Because the Western influence on a young person's mind has somewhere overtaken. The glamorization of the pub culture, the attires which don't belong to this land, the language which doesn't belong to this land. So if the parents don't have any objection, if the society does not have any objection, the young generation looking at them feel inspired. And it is further compounded by what negativity we see on television, OTT, and our social media devices. Because negativity sells. You see, you go along in any road, there is a beautiful person singing on harmonium on a roadside and sitting under a tree. Hardly anybody will stop. You go another 50 yards and you find one accident has taken place. And there's a crash, somebody is injured. Thousands of people will gather, start taking photographs, this thing. Subconsciously, is when you come Vat, Pitta and Kaph. So this is a Vata dosh. It attracts negativity. And most of us are suffering from Vata dosh in Ayurvedic terms. So you will find on OTT platforms, what are they showing you? They are showing you drugs, they are showing you alcoholism, they are showing you immoral activities, they are showing you gun culture, they are showing you thefts, they are showing you...
And that sells.
Each newspaper you pick up, any newspaper you pick up, you read from front page to the last page. It will only have negative news.
Yeah.
Murder, rape, this, dacoity, robbery, plundering, this place, this has happened, this accident, bridge has collapsed, railway line has, gone, aircraft so-and-so has happened. Yeah. There are hundreds and hundreds of good things that are happening. Now, through your forum, how many of us as Indians know there's a girl called Kamya Karthikeyan? She is a 17-year-old girl, daughter of a naval officer. She has climbed all the 7 highest peaks of all the 7 continents, including Mount Everest, and she is 17 years old. It has not found place in any newspaper or social media. There are 2 naval officers. One is Lieutenant Commander Dilna and one is Lieutenant Commander Rupa, who set sail on a sailboat across the world. These 2 girls alone sailed for 8 months and just came to Cochin 15 days ago. Raksha Mantri received them. 2 girls have braved the oceans, Cape Horn, Cape of Good Way, bad weather, navigated around this globe, have come back. You will not find mention anywhere. When I give example of Fauji's, an average person cannot relate.
Relate to that, yeah.
But young generation will relate. See an example of grit, determination, willpower, mental strength. I'll just give you one example, and that is of Rishabh Pant. On 30 or 31st of December 2022, he meets with a near fatal road accident. His leg was to be amputated. He was put on DI list and was difficult, to be revived at one stage. What happened? This is an example. He recovered. This boy worked 16 to 18 hours on his strength building and fitness. In 2023, by middle, he started walking for 12 hours a day, limping initially. Then he started getting his strength back. Then he started running. He got his fitness back. He got his weight and other parameters within control. He started playing domestic cricket in August or September of 2023. He got selected for Indian national team on his merit in end of 2023. And he was part of the World Cup winning team in 2024. He lifted the World Cup from a place where his leg was to be amputated to lifting the World Cup in a few months. What more example do you need of grit, determination, and mental strength?
I'm also reflecting on a few things that you spoke about, that what happens to an individual that he tries to imitate somebody else that he's not. You spoke about the art of war, and in the religious temples and the places, ghettos, all these places, we had our education systems kept, and the art of war, how they can actually
Shastra
and Shastra were kept. One thing that's coming to me is that every time when you lose an identity, you would make a sincere attempt to cling on to something which may not be in accordance to who you are. So every time when you feel that you've lost an identity, go back, take some time to go back to your identity rather than riding on a wave which is not going to serve you. Who we are is much deeper than, who we are is bigger than what we believe we are. And you have shared so many examples. Since we are talking about the art of war, and we have witnessed the stories of Karna and Arjuna, do you think that our mythology is our history in true sense? Or is it just a story that somebody has created and we are chasing it?
Absolutely not. See, if you look at Ramayana, Bhagwan Ram a Dev fought with an Asur, Ravan, in another land. You come to Mahabharata. The Kauravas and Pandavas were one family. So Mahabharata was between kith and kin. Ramayana was with Asur, Rakshas and Dev. Separate, two separate countries, two separate identities. Here, one family, and now come to Kali Yuga. We are fighting a battle within ourselves.
Within ourselves.
We don't have to fight anybody else. We have to fight our own selves. Mind is your friend, and mind, your own mind, is your biggest enemy. How much are you able to tame your mind defines your trajectory and growth in life.
This is mind-blowing. You know, I'm just seeing the sequence. The war started between two countries. It came down to within the family, and the battle is within my own.
Now it is within yourself. How the biggest enemy is your own mind. Before you begin anything, your mind will tell you whether you can do it or you can't do it.
Yeah.
You want to climb a mountain, you want to run in the morning, you want to study, you want to sit, you want to concentrate on anything. Your mind, heart will say something else, mind will say something else.
And there's always a battle.
It is always, and it is going on in every individual. How much are you able to tame your mind defines your future trajectory.
How much you're able to tame your mind is going to decide your future trajectory. You know, considering and coming back to the topic that why India is surrounded by enemies, in Chanakya Niti, there's a theory that talks about the mandala theory that says that your neighbor cannot be your friend. They're your enemies, and the neighbor of your neighbors, they could be your friends.
Yes.
How far is it truth in today's context?
It is true always. You know, enemy is your friend. We have seen in every book, in every movie, in every scripture. It happens today. But typically, with passage of time, the vested interests have started to overshadow the original concept of diplomacy. The honor of the word. Earlier, if you see Rajasthan and old Marwadis and soldiers and Rajputs, एक बारी उन्होंने अपना word दे दिया, ज़बान दे दी, they lost the kingdoms. Today, you go to any American company or you deal with any Western country, they come with their lawyers for every discussion. The lawyer makes an agreement of 20 to 30 pages with so many sub-clauses that you have to sign before you start dealing with that agency. There is so much of mistrust.
Yeah.
There is so much of mistrust now. The humans have stopped trusting each other.
Yeah. So can you tell me in the context of when it comes to India, Pakistan, Afghanistan for that matter, India, China, Russia, there are neighbors and neighbors. Can you just unfold?
See, I'll give you an example. Let's go back to history. 1979. The USSR occupied Afghanistan. The Russian forces came.
Yeah.
So the West, CIA created Mujahideens in Pakistan. They started fighting them.
Yeah.
In the back channel, the Western countries started to disintegrate USSR. So by 1989, they realized that they cannot sustain. So the USSR pulled out of Afghanistan. That left a vacuum.
Yeah.
So that vacuum was now filled up with Taliban, the newer version of Mujahideens. So, and the free radicals started to move into. So Kashmir problem started from 89 because the USSR had left.
Yeah.
So they were free. So they started coming to this side and other parts of the world.
Yeah.
But India has always helped Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Even during Taliban regime, even during non-Taliban regime. We have, as we speak, made hospitals, the parliaments, highways, runways, schools. This is our soft power. So when Taliban took power in 2023, 15th of August, the world thought that, the things will change.
Yeah.
But today you look at it, India shares a wonderful relation with Taliban.
Yeah.
So Pakistan, which thought can walk over because they are their creation after they're taking over, they are fighting them.
Yeah.
So this analogy of yours is proven that we have, strategic reach. India has fundamentally had wonderful relations with Russia. In all conflicts, in all other times, like when the West put embargoes on beginning of Russia-Ukraine war, India was the only country which said, no, we will buy oil from Russia. So against all sanctions, we started buying oil from Russia. We have supported Russia in all forms and vice versa. Russia has also shared niche technology.
Absolutely.
This BrahMos which you're seeing is firing. These missiles, these aircraft, these weapons, S-400s which saved us.
Or for that matter, the historic 1971
war.
We won because of this.
Because Russians have always supported us. So India is one country which does not forget people who have held your hand in time of need.
I think the reciprocity is in our blood.
Yes. So
And
now,
the gratitude.
now geopolitics have brought, Russia and China together. They have had a large amount of, not so good interactions in the past. But today the need is so, new axis being drawn that Russia and China have brought them closer. But China doesn't, again a civilizational country, does not want, because their interest is that they want to be the sole power of Asia.
Superpower of Asia.
At least, and later globally. That is their aim. They're growing and working towards that. So India is a competitor in this regard. So they certainly doesn't want us to come up to that. But India is now balancing its relations both with Russia and China. And China needs us because we are the biggest market. And India needs Russia. Russia needs India to balance China and the rest of the geopolitics.
So let's talk about something which we have been talking about and discussing on different forums for decades altogether. India-Pakistan relationship. Is it the result of religious differences, or is it the ideological polarities that we are living in, or is it the creation of some superpower which is pulling the strings behind the scene, behind the curtains, as they say it?
I'll begin. I always tell stories. I'll begin this
Let's go back.
I begin this with the story. I was sitting with a diplomat who was posted at Pakistan. He said they were invited in Karachi when he was posted in Pakistan to somebody's house for dinner. He went with his wife to this gentleman's house, who was a Pakistani, for dinner. As he opened the door, this guest, two small children, girls, one about 6 years old and one about 4 or 5 years old. They came running and asked Papa, these are the people. So he said, yeah, they are from India. ओहो, ये तो वो जालिम हैं. इनको आपने घर क्यों बुलाया? A 5-year-old girl is telling her father in front of the Indian guests, ये तो अच्छे लोग नहीं हैं. This girl, the younger girl said. The small girl, which is 4 to 5 years old, is telling her father in front of the Indian diplomat, ये अच्छे लोग नहीं हैं.
ये तो जालिम है.
बड़ी वाली ने बोला जालिम है, छोटी वाली ने बोला ये अच्छे लोग नहीं हैं. इनको क्यों घर बुलाया? So उन्होंने उनको साइड में ले गए. This indicates and answers each and every question which you just asked me. The creation of Pakistan, in my appreciation, was the brainchild of Americans and the British. The 1948 war, which India fought with Pakistan, is the only war in the history of mankind in which two opposing armies fought each other with generals from the same country. The Indian army had a British general, the Pakistani army had a British general. 1948 war. And the line which we see in J&K was decided in London. The Britishers decided how much each country will have even after Hari Singh giving us the complete access to J&K. And that is what is Pak-occupied Kashmir, Aksai Chin and other issues. because they did not want India to rise. If India had controlled all the waterways, if India had the whole J&K which was given to India, we would have been overseeing Islamabad, Rawalpindi and all this, which they didn't want. So it is the Britishers, I always keep saying, wheresoever they have gone and left, have left problems and problems. Now, after creation of Pakistan, it is the books that have been manipulated. The books which we teach, ABCD or Hindi mein ka kha ga, the Urdu books are called Qaida. Alif, Be, Pe is taught. So when you go to Pakistan, this again was told to me by the diplomat, that when you go to Pakistan and you pick up this Qaida book which teaches a child, usme the word za se likhte hain zalim, and उसमें एक हिंदू पंडित की फोटो लगाई हुई है. The textbook which is taught to a young boy, क से काफिर, उसमें एक सरदार की फोटो लगाई हुई है. तो वो बच्चा, when he starts learning education, these things are embedded in his mind by the school books, and the parents and the society makes this narrative to them that they are convinced and made to believe at that young age of the example which I gave. They are brought up. Does any of our education system or any of our book teaches that so-and-so is not good and so-and-so is not this thing? Does it, any curriculum in our school are we taught in our country? But in their books, they are taught to hate. They are taught from day one to hate everything about India and Indian. So that is why they grow up with that mindset and they are very easy to be manipulated. On first pretext of a call, they all come on roads. Because they are convinced in their mind that this what has been taught, and media shows that, print media shows that, school books tell that, parents tell that. So they believe everything.
You know, after 70 years, over 70 years, the game that we have been playing, how come nobody in Pakistan took the responsibility to ensure that they should educate their people as well? That it is a game which is played by somebody else. There's a mastermind who's sitting somewhere else and has created Pakistan as a buffer and leveraged them for their own benefit.
See, if you see in all parameters, till about early 60s and early 70s, Pakistan was ahead of India. Not very many people know about it. In development, in per capita income, in growth, in GDP. What happened? The change came when Islamization of Pakistan began. When General Ziaul Haq became the dictator, he started to say that we will bleed India by 1,000 cuts. He started to manipulate an average person's mind. He started to put this perspective ahead of development. So what happened? A large amount of formal schools started to reduce and parallelly madrasas started to come up. Somewhere it coincided with USSR invasion. So these people were trained to give the life for a cause. And it is easy to keep them away from any knowledge of worldly wisdom. So what happened? These people are cut from the world about everything. So they are kept in secluded places. They are brainwashed. They are trained and made. Ajmal Kasab happened in Mumbai when he was asked, and when the I was speaking to the police officer who was there in Bombay that day. He did a course with us. He says when the 9 bodies were brought of the other 9 who came, terrorists, and when it was shown, because he was the only one who was caught alive, he started crying. So when he was asked why, he says, we were told that our bodies will turn into flowers. But here the bodies have not turned into flowers. And that's the time he realized that he has been made a fool of. That's
how these people have been doctrined.
Yes. So So it is very easy to, manipulate a young mind.
I do understand to some extent what's happening between India and Pakistan, and how till one point in time there was a narrative that they were fed with, and then, as you said, the Islamic polarization started that further put everything in the drain. But if you look at 1971 war, where India was instrumental in establishing Bangladesh and ensuring there's some peace there, and today when you look at Bangladesh, they still look at us with a lot of suspicion. Why?
See, India lost large amount of people, its own soldiers and troops, fighting for a cause. Why did we do that? Because we were young kids at that time. So end 60s, there was so much of oppression by the Pakistani army in Bangladesh. The Pakistani Punjabis, who are controlling everything in Pakistan.
Pakistani,
Punjabis who are controlling everything in Pakistan, be it the army, be it judiciary, be it bureaucracy, be it businesses, be it any position of power, it is held by the Pakistani Punjabis there. So what happened is they are exploiting their own people, be it Balochis, be it Sindhis, be it people from Gilgit-Baltistan, be it from Northwestern Frontier Province, be it anybody. This Indus Water Treaty, the water is not going through Punjab, but they have put canals to divert this water. So the Punjabis have full irrigation. This whole land is owned by the generals of Pakistani Punjab. So when these generals and the army started to go into Bangladesh in the 60s and 70s, they started massacring, looting, plundering these people. They didn't consider Bengalis as the equivalent. So what happened? A large amount of refugees start to come into India. They started killing Hindus. They started to, plunder. So India inherited a problem of lakhs and lakhs of refugees coming into our country. That was our biggest challenge. How to, hold them.
Yeah.
So India started, speaking to Pakistan, but they won't listen. Finally, the Mukti Bahini, which was led by Mujibur Rahman, the Indian government started to support. And when Manik Shah was, the army chief at that stage, was approached by Indira Gandhi, and India fought the war in 1971, and in 14 days, never ever after Second World War, 93,000 prisoners laid down the arms. But Pakistan is such a wonderful country, this narrative has never come out in their books. They have won the 71 war. They won the 65 war. They have won the Kargil war. They have won this Op Sindoor. When Op Sindoor ended on 10th of May, 11th May, they were distributing sweets in Lahore and Islamabad. And I always jokingly said that if the cricket matches were not telecasted live, Pakistan would have won all the matches from India also.
Yeah.
Because they web a narrative which they sell to the people. Everything there is controlled. The media is controlled, the print is controlled, it is just recently that the social media, other things which guys have phones in the hand now. So what happened in 71? Despite all this, Bangladesh got liberation. But the right-wing element was continuously being supported by this vested interests. So when Khalida Zia and she came to power, she was fed by this right-wing ideology, and large amount of right-wing ideology people in Bangladesh were a part of the army, because General Zia had toppled Bangladesh at that time, and he had a right-wing ideology. So those people were in Bangladesh army. So what happened now? Sheikh Hasina came. So Sheikh Hasina was pro-India, and India supported Bangladesh in every manner. Today, Bangladesh, till 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, was thriving on every box, much ahead of Pakistan, from which it had taken off. Be it the currency, be it per capita income, be it growth, be it exports, be it investments, be it shipping, be it anything, trade. Bangladesh was ahead of Pakistan. But what happened? They can't see anybody rising. The West cannot see anybody growing as a threat. They cannot say collusion between any other country and India because it has to be cut to size. What is the most thing which connects religion? What is the best thing to do inside? So that's how Yunus, who was given the
Yunus.
Nobel Peace Prize, who stayed in America for those many years, was parachuted into Bangladesh. So Sheikh Hasina was thrown out the last year, and Yunus came in. He promised in 3 months I'll hold elections. I don't know how many months have gone. Nothing has happened.
So, I remember one of our conversations, earlier conversation, you spoke about deep state.
Yes.
I would like to bring that here. The power toppled in Bangladesh and Muhammad Yunus came into power. What do you see a connect? What is it that we are not able, what is invisible to me?
I told you earlier also, and I've been telling this, I do not exactly know the names of these people. I would not like to comment and speculate.
Absolutely.
But there are powers in this world who control everything. They control elections. They control funding of every other country. They will fund those people and support those people and project those people through media or other means, which suits their agenda. And you see globally, you see Europe, you see other countries, the leftist ideology, the woke kind of a mindset, is propagated, in feminism, in these kind of thought processes, liberalization,
woke culture,
equality, LGBT, all these are given a lot of patronage. So the televisions, the newspaper, the media, the hype will be around. So a young boy and girl likes to relate to this modernization. They likes to cut off from their roots and culture and be connected with this life. This life is an artificial life.
And what does that do to our system? What does it do to our fabric?
So that, what I was telling you, they want woke kind of people who are very easy to be manipulated. Everything today is being worked through social media, through internet, through narrative, through perspective building, on creating people who are malleable. What is malleable? Malleable is a metal or a amount which can be given any shape, be it silver, gold. You can give any shape to silver. They are malleable metals. Same as human beings.
A broken country like Pakistan, would be a fair assumption to make a broken country like Pakistan?
See, they have thousands of problems, but they have survived the test of time. Why?
Above all, they've been able to convince the world their side of the story.
Obviously.
Why and how?
They are a fantastic storytellers. Even this Op Sindhu, their narrative, I felt, was backed up by the rest of the world. One, it suited them because I told you earlier that it is their weapons and equipment of the Western which they didn't want the world to know. And secondly, they have a knack of riding a tiger but balancing elephants. So they manage it beautifully. I gave you an example. As we speak today, now, there are protests pro-Iran in Pakistan. And Pakistani airspace was used to bomb Iranian nuclear reactors. This is the beauty of that country. It is dealing with China. It is dealing with USA. It is dealing with Russia. It is dealing with Israel. It is dealing with Bangladesh. It is dealing with Afghanistan.
And they've been able to balance it really well.
Balance it. That is the beauty.
Just a small detour. And that question has been quite pricking my head for quite some time. They say that Afghanistan is one of those very few countries in the world that has not been invaded. What's so strategic about that, the way it's placed, that not many countries have been able to invade them?
You have been there. You see the terrain. It is so harsh. It is a mountainous desert. Hardly anything grows there. The huge mountains, barren, spread. It's difficult to hold on ground. There is nothing which grows there as much. And there is nothing but it is a place where every transit route goes through. The old Silk Route went through that place. It is connecting every Central Asian country to have access to Europe, to have access to Russia, to have access to China, to have access to Hindu Kush, that is Indian belt, to have access to Persian area, to have access to Ottoman Empire, Turkey, that side. You had to go via Afghanistan.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is a bowl which everybody wanted to hold.
Yeah. And this I would strongly recommend all our listeners and people who are watching this episode right now that go to the globe and see the strategic positioning of Afghanistan. This is very interesting because every time when I go through that, this is where it's placed. As you said, it's so well connected, so strategically located. It's, of course, the land and the jazba, as they say, that the Afghans bring in, that does not allow any country to invade them.
I'll bring spirituality to this conversation. Shakuni was king of Kandar. Gandhar Naresh.
Yeah.
Kandar is Afghanistan. So when Mahabharata happened, it was cursed that this land will never ever be happy and prosperous. Because he was the main person who made Kauravas and Pandavas fight. And when Pandava's mother gave a shrap, she says, this land, Gandhar, will never prosper.
Wow. And then you say that it's only mythology, it's not history. Go back, and before you go back, take this moment to quickly click on and subscribe to our channel, because this conversation is only going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, you spoke about woke culture. You spoke about liberalization. You spoke about feminism. Like with Taliban, do you think is liberalization or feminism coming back to bite the West?
Yes, absolutely. And, each of these changes take a couple of generations to bring in change.
Yeah.
Today, you find boys dressing like girls.
Yeah.
Girls dressing like boys. There is absolutely, in the name of equality, the lines have blurred.
Yeah.
This is by design. And it started in end 70s or early 80s, in my opinion. It is starting to show results now, after 50 years. When, natural food, there was nobody obese in whole of Europe and America end of 70s. I was watching a program where people had to pay money to go to circus to see a fat man. मोटा आदमी देखने के लिए उनको सर्कस में जाना पड़ता है. एक आदमी ऐसा मोटा है तो उसको एज ए शो पीस रखा जाता था सर्कस में. Everybody was slim, trim, healthy, because the diet was such natural. What happened? Suddenly he says, best food to have for breakfast is Kellogg's. Best thing to have this thing. You should have supplements every day. You should have protein supplements. You should have Fana supplements. You should eat, this baked food. You should have processed, things which are refrigerated. No need to cook every day. You can store food for weeks.
Yeah.
You started having preventive medicines so that you don't have cancer. So you start having medicines now only. So a 15-year-old, a person in America, or a 20-year-old is having preventive medicines against cancer and heart problems now.
Isn't it very interesting that the monster that they have created to showcase their supremacy in the world have started to bite them?
Yes. So what has happened is, it takes a few generations, I said, 20, 30, 40 years for that thing. It doesn't show immediate results, but it is showing now. We, more and more Indians, the young generation, especially the urban generation, is becoming a weak, physically weak and mentally weak generation. Effect of diet, effect of Western culture, effect of social media, the joint family is breaking, the both parents working. Today, what has happened? All of us today are living on Western culture of loan. So you want to, because you have separated from the joint families, so everybody wants independence. So everybody wants to buy a house. Everybody wants to buy a car. Everybody wants to buy a television. Everybody wants to buy gadgets. How do you get them? You get them easy loan. So you take loan. How do you repay them? You have to work. So both mother, father are working. Who's bringing up the child? Maids or internet and their friends. So when I was speaking at some forum the other day, when we were 13-year-old, our best game was, we just got a new fridge that time, I remember.
Yeah.
So at evening, we used to go and see if the light is working
Yeah.
or not. Today, 13-year-olds are having breakup depressions.
Yeah.
There is no adolescence left. The 9-year-old child is fully aware of everything. That age between 9 to 16, which we had, is finished. Where has the childhood gone?
Considering the transition that we are speaking about, the culture and the woke culture where we are coming from, if you were to create a distinction between Indian collectivism and Western individualism, how would you draw that?
I have a different take on this. See, what has happened in last about 100 plus years, ever since the Britishers were here, we have lost the identity of collectivism
Yeah.
in our country.
Yeah.
And it was further compounded because we were left as one of the poorest nations in this world.
Yeah.
So there are, Gaurav, in my opinion, fundamentally, and I speak on this on many forums, there are, in any human mind, there are basically two concerns. One concern for family, for your mother, father,
Yeah,
brother,
yeah,
sister,
yeah.
children, relatives. It's called concern for family. And other concern in any individual's mind is in concern for society. In our country today, the concern for family is very high. I'll put it 95, 98%. We, get perturbed and shaken up in case something happens to any of our family members. We will travel thousands of kilometers just to see our relative or meet in case they are in need, or brother, sister, children. We are like that, Indians. But when it comes to concern for society, we are zero or very poor. We will not take a second if that thing is not affecting us directly to overlook that thing. Could it be pollution? Could it be parking? Could it be, creating ruckus anywhere? But this concern for society is much higher in Western countries. They will not do anything with which any other individual is put at inconvenience. This is enshrined in their upbringing.
Yeah.
And why go west? You take Japan.
Yeah.
A child in Japan, I was reading and I have seen a lot of videos, is treated like a king till the age of 4 or 5. From 5 years to 12 years old, a Japanese child by the parents is treated like a servant by design. That child is made to do every household work. He cleans the kitchen. He helps the parents in cleaning the bathrooms, in wiping the whole thing, in polishing his own shoes, in ironing his own things. In Japanese school, after the school finishes, every child of that class cleans that class, picks up all the gear and leaves it in that condition. The teacher and the children work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
When a tsunami came to Japan a few years ago, or when the radiation leak took place, I was watching program that in a city, coastal city, the water was less. The bread and food was less till the supplies came. So the mayor just passed a message that you take whatever. Nobody in Japan took more than one bottle of water and one loaf of bread, and the stores are open. This kind of mental upbringing, we have a very long way to go.
Where have we lost it?
We have lost on
or how have we picked it?
See, we need a purpose and a cause. Today, we are too class-minded in our country. In our country, firstly, the public transport is not of very high quality.
Yeah.
Even if it is. And from place A to place B, somebody staying in, Greater Kailash has a metro just walking distance from his house, and he has to go to Rajiv Chowk in Connaught Place. Clean, absolute clean. He will not go. Because if he travels by metro, it is below his dignity.
The class.
Class. So each car which you find, I was reading somewhere, Delhi has more vehicles put together than Mumbai, Calcutta, and Chennai put together.
Wow. Because deep down we have lost our identities, and thus we are chasing different transitional identities.
We are to become too manipulative. And that is what they want.
We are holding on to the narrative that we have given to the world that we are a peaceful country. How much is it supporting us? If it is.
We have stuck on to our foreign policy right since independence. We have not become a part of any camp.
The non-aligned policy that was under Nehru.
It is not, the word is no more existent, non-aligned. It is, you take this present conflict, Israel, Iran. We have wonderful relations with both the countries. But we are managing it. Israel has helped us in tech and warfare and other things in the recent ongoing Ops Sindoor.
Yeah.
But we have wonderful relations. We have built Charbagh port for Iran. We have built hospitals, roads, infrastructure. Iran stopped its hostilities yesterday to accommodate our aeroplanes to evacuate 1,000 Indians, which it has not done for anybody else.
Yeah.
How do you answer this? So, we need energy from Iran. We have strong civilizational connects. India has highest number of Shia population after Iran in our country. There is a connect with the leadership there, and India has shared wonderful relations. So this balancing is what we have been doing from the beginning in our foreign policy. With the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, our Prime Minister went to Russia to speak to them. And now, whom is the world requesting to stop this Iran-Israel war? Us.
Yeah. So how would you explain Nehru's non-allied policy or Modi's power game?
See, non-aligned was a kind of a thing of that era.
That era. In that context,
socialistic
it was required.
way with very minimal requirements. India, everything had a nationalistic presence. Even the bread was made. To get a scooter, if you recall, in 80s, we had to book in foreign exchange Bajaj Chetak.
It will take few months.
To get an MTNL connection, you had to wait for 5-7 years to get a landline telephone connection. That also you required some push and pull.
Yeah.
The hotels were made by the government. The Ashoka Hotel and Centaur Hotel was run by the government. Modern bread was made by the government. The scooters were made by the government.
Yeah.
But it cannot sustain.
Yeah.
So somewhere, when the liberalization came in 91, we opened up. There's competition now.
Yeah.
There are 50 companies making bread today. There are 100 companies which are operating hotels. So this has to change. So that non-aligned movement of that era had different scope in 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
But today's, the connectivity is Prime Minister Modi, after this Ops Sindoor, 190 countries, diplomatic centers and embassies in Delhi were contacted to give Indian point of view. Our opposition members went across to so many countries. 9 delegations went around to, I think, so 40 plus countries, explaining Indian position on this. Why are we doing this?
Yeah. Probably to shift the narrative that we have, that we are known as we are not only the spiritual country, we are a strategic country as well.
Correct.
Let's move to the other direction. Just looking at, on one hand, we've got Pakistan and Afghanistan. On the other hand, we've got Nepal and China. One of the narratives that I heard is that China considers India as their enemy. For one of the reasons is that there were Indians in the Britishers' uniform while there was a war going on against China pre-independence. That's one of the narratives. But what do you think? What are the other reasons why China considers
See,
us?
I told you in my previous discussion also that China is a civilization which is nearly as old as our 3,000-year-old maybe. And it was also one of the biggest economies till again it was looted and plundered. But they have come back. They have come back much faster after Deng's change of 1979, which we did in 91, they did in 79. China was brought up by the West, by the Americans, as a counter force from 79 against USSR. After the disintegration of USSR, in my personal appreciation, the biggest mistake that the world made at that stage was to induct China in World Trade Organization.
Yeah.
So this brought the Chinese industry to the world. Now what China did, China being a communist country, run by everything, started subsidizing everything. So a product which costed 10 rupees in America, the Chinese would make it for 2 rupees. So what happened? Why should somebody buy the same product for 10 rupees when it is available for 2 rupees?
Yeah.
So slowly, the world industries start to pack up.
Yeah.
And all the industries started to shift there.
Especially the manufacturing.
Everything in manufacturing. Along with it came the strategic mindset of the Chinese. They realized much earlier that nobody will give them technology. So complete 80s, 90s and 2000s, they sent their best brains abroad to study and smuggle things back to their own country. Next, they bought products and started doing reverse engineering. Be it aircraft engines, be it avionics, be it radars, be it. By 2010 to 2015, they had reached a stage where they had enough of their own.
Yeah.
They didn't need any help. So they had set up all their industries and look at last 8 to 10 years where China is galloping in certain verticals. It has galloped, I think so, it is the best in solar today. It is one of the best in electronic vehicles. It is best in machine learning. It is one of the best in robotics. It is one of the best in semiconductor and chips. And not that. They realized 20 years ago that the one who will control rare earth elements, rare earth, will rule the world because these are needed for all your semiconductor chips and parts. So they started, doing contracts with those countries and those regions which produced. So it is not getting they had set up 90% of the global rare earth enrichment is in China. 90% of the global. So now what they're doing, they're using the rare earth as a diplomatic tool against Americans. And it will take decades now or many, many years now to catch up to their capability. What has happened now? I was reading Maruti had to scale down its production of electronic vehicles because China stopped supplying the rare earth elements.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised that it has become one of the reasons for the world chaos because on one hand, the countries like US are trying to protect their status quo. And on the other hand, the emerging countries like emerging power like China was just saying that, okay, it's time for me to rule. So if China controls the wallet, US controls the narrative, what do we control?
We are becoming a power which both these sides don't want us to grow to that level. They don't want a third person on the main table. That is their problem. And why the whole world can't see India's rise? Because of our historical... I told you about history. You just see 1840 or 1850s tak, we had 30% of global... What if India starts to hold and starts growing economically? That we will start to control the narrative of the world. So they cannot see a strong and rising India. So they will try and pull you down in every aspect. They will want problem around your neighborhood so that you keep yourself busy in handling day-to-day problems and chaos, which they manipulate so that the real growth. Because economically, if you have to grow, you have to have peace all around you.
And they are ensuring that we are busy with our
Yes.
small wars, be it the war against
Everything,
Pakistan or something
everything
in
in
China.
the region,
or
they'll
Bangladesh.
create unrest. They'll create unrest.
Yeah.
Now, coming to China and Nepal. Nepal was a Hindu kingdom
Yeah.
till few years ago. What happened? There was no communist party in Nepal ever, never. It was a kingdom. So what did they do? So king was removed. His brother and his brother's son came, which after few days was also removed. Who was brought up? A communist party. Prachananda and his company. They won the elections. What did they do? They created rift in Nepalese. So there was a pro and an anti-Indian lobby that was set. They created a rift between Madheshis and Gurkhas. So what happened? China jumped into the bandwagon. China said, why are you dependent on India for everything? We will help you. So the Chinese started to help Nepal to contain India.
Yeah.
So they started, because the hills are very treacherous in north, so they started an air route. So there is a flight now which goes from Kathmandu to all the cities in Guangzhou and all this in China, where the Nepalese are given subsidized tickets. You go and do shopping in China.
Yeah.
So Nepalese are now lured by the Chinese to go to China for this thing. And they are telling them, Indians are no good. We'll give you expressways. We'll make runways here. We'll make highways for you. We will build bullet trains for you. We will bring prosperity to your region which has been neglected. So that is how. So basically, the Chinese have, entered Nepal. They have entered Bhutanese. They have entered Myanmar. They have entered Bangladesh. They have entered Maldives. They are in Pakistan. So the most sought after airfield, which we just discussed, Kandahar, has been overtaken by the Chinese.
Yeah.
After the Americans pulled out, today the Chinese sit there.
Beautiful. So here's the last question in two folds. If you were to advise Modi ji on our foreign policy, what would be your piece of
I have
advice?
nobody to advise. I have nobody to advise. The leadership in our country is sorted out. I have absolutely no doubt. We have one of the finest diplomats. We have the finest brains in this country. And they are doing, because there are so many things that you and I don't know sitting here in this room, which they are aware, and they are taking the best decisions in the interest of this country. And I'm convinced of that.
Okay. Or the second fold of the question. If you were to give a piece of advice, or let me just change the word. If you were to share a message with all the Indians, be it those sitting in the country or those sitting outside the country, what would be that message?
We are the best. We were the best. We are the best. And we will be the best. Just have belief in yourself.
Yeah. Reminds me of the song by Salman Khan and Sanjay Dutt. It says, "Suno gaur se duniya walo, buri nazar na hum pe dalo, sabse aage honge Hindustani."
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं.
Thank you so much for sharing your love. I could experience that vibration in my body every time when you were talking about the country. And I echo that. I echo every single emotion that you have for the country. As you said, Hindustan Zindabad tha, Hindustan Zindabad hai, और Hindustan Zindabad रहेगा. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you very much.